Welcome to part 7 of Crochet Basics. Today we're going to learn the treble crochet stitch. Though there are some people who wouldn't consider this a stitch to include in teaching the basics of crochet, I'm including it because it does occasionally come up and it's a good one to know when you're combining it with the other stitches to make pretty stitch patterns. So we're going to do treble crochet. All right, I'm going to just be adding those treble crochet stitches on top of what I've already been working, but I do want to cover one more time just the number of foundation stitches that you need to make, chains, the foundation chains, in order to build the varying stitches on top. If you're doing single crochet, you determine the number of stitches that you want when you're making your foundation chain, and you chain that many plus 1, and then you work into the second chain from the hook. If you're working half double crochet, you determine how many stitches you want, and then you add 2 more chains to that. And when you're working half double crochet, then you will work into the third chain from the hook for your first stitch. Then when you get to your double crochet, you do your, determine the number of stitches you want, chain that many, and then you chain an additional 3. You work into the 4th chain from the hook, and that will be your first stitch. Well, for treble, you're going to chain an additional 4 stitches, and you'll work into the 5th chain from the hook. I have a little page, a chart that I made some time ago when I was teaching a girls crochet class, and I will somehow or other fit it in here, probably at the end of the video. And so you can look at that too, and that will be helpful in determining where to place your stitches. All right, let's go ahead and begin our turning chain. Let's pretend you're already at this point. Turning chain, we are going to not just chain 1. That's what we would do for a single crochet if we're working in that stitch. We will not just do 2 chains. That's what we would do for a half double crochet. We will not just chain 3 chains. That's what we would do for a double crochet for the turning chain. We are going to go all the way to 4 chains. Pretty tall, isn't that? That will, and we're going to turn the work. That will, as with the half double and the double crochet stitches, serve as the first stitch made. So we are going to completely ignore that first stitch. Okay. Now, we've been doing 1 yarn over for half double and double crochet. For treble crochet, you're going to do 2 yarn overs. So this is what your hook will look like. You've got 3 stitches on the hook. I'm going to switch to the other hook and after this row. I just felt like maybe it will be easier to see with my more yellow table, a blue hook. Alrighty. We're going to follow the same rule though. You skip the first stitch and you're going to work into the second one. This is let me see here. Yep, this was the first stitch. So we're going to work into the second stitch. Picking up both loops, yarn over hook, pull through the stitch, yarn over hook, pull through 2, yarn over hook, pull through 2, yarn over hook, pull through the last 2 loops. Look how tall that post is. Now you can see it's going to be easier to count post stitches and not solely have to rely on the loops on top. Alrighty. I'm going to put, we'll just put this one in and take that other stitch marker out. Alright. I'm going to mark, oops, I don't want to mark this because that's the actual stitch that I made just now, the loops for that. I want to mark the top loop of that turning chain. There we go. I'll just take this one out. Alrighty. So here we go. Yarn over once, yarn over twice, insert into the next stitch. Both loops, of course, picked up. Yarn over hook and pull up. Yarn over through two, yarn over through two, yarn over through the last two. Okay? Yarn over, insert hook, yarn over through one, yarn over through two, yarn over through two, yarn over through two. Let's do that again. Yarn over, insert hook, yarn over through the stitch, through one, yarn over through two, yarn over through two, yarn over through two. Alrighty. And let's continue on down the row. 2 yarn overs, insert hook, yarn over through one, yarn over through two, yarn over through two, and then yarn over through two. And let's keep that up to the end of the row. And then I'm going to switch my hook. I think there's too much shine on this one. Okay. You can see that by using this stitch, you can work up any amount of fabric here, a scarf, a blanket, whatever, rather quickly. All right, last one. That's that stitch that's a little harder to get. Just dig a little bit harder. It's fine. There we go. All right. Yarn over through one, yarn over through two, yarn over through two, and the last yarn over through two. Very good. We'll pull that loop a bit and find my hook. All right. I'll just take this a little bit to show you too. It's an extra little tip. When you are taking your hook out of your work and then putting it back in, a good way to know whether you've got your loop twisted or not is to see when you pull the working yarn, which side of this loop is being pulled. That side should be on the top of the loop of the hook. Okay, do you see that? All right, that keeps it nice and straight. So we're at a turning chain. We're going to turn or chain 4 and then turn the work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Turn the work, again keeping the yarn to the back side of the hook. 2 yarn overs. Skip that first stitch because we already have it. And into the second stitch. And while I'm here, I'm going to take this opportunity to move this marker up. Again, I don't want to mark the stitch loops that I just made. I want to mark the top of the turning chain. There we go. All right. I just want to say this is not something that I normally do when I'm crocheting, but it is such a good idea for someone who is just beginner with these skills. It sure adds a lot of confidence to knowing right where to start, right where to finish. And so that's just why I recommend doing it. You can get by fine without. And once confidence is built up, you probably will go without doing that extra step. It's okay. Alrighty. Cruising on down the row. You go through your yarn a little quicker with a stitch like this, so I'll be pulling it more often. All right, 2 yarn overs, insert, yarn over through 1, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Okay. We're almost there. Slow it down just a little bit here if there's still any confusion. All right, now I'm at the end of my row, or am I? I have this marked stitch. Even though it looks like I've done my last stitch, I have one more to go. One more. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of lift that stitch to give me access to that loop. There we go. There we are. So that looks like we've done quite a bit of work there. That's only 2 rows. Compare that down here. I did 4 rows of single crochet, and that's even less fabric made than the 2 rows of the treble. So this is how it builds. I know I did different numbers of rows each time. Here's 3 of the doubles. I did 3, I believe, of the half doubles, and there's 2 of the treble. All right, so go ahead and just continue practicing this stitch, and chain 4 turn for your turning chain. Do the chain 4. Turn your work. 2 yarn overs. Skip the first, work into the second, and you're on your way. And you can make your piece as big as you want. Just practice until you're really comfortable working with this extra tall stitch. There are other stitches that you can make that are taller than the treble crochet stitch. I'm not going to be showing those here. I will probably do so at some point on future videos when I work more on a stitch series, but you're rarely going to see, at least for basic patterns, even intermediate patterns, you're rarely going to see anything that's taller than this made. So this is as far as I will focus on the actual stitches made, and I hope you're going to continue to join me in the series, because coming up next we're going to talk about keeping the edges even. Even though I've covered that in single crochet, half double crochet, double crochet, and now treble crochet, sometimes just a really pointed focus on keeping the edges even is a good idea. So we're going to do a short video that deals with that and helps people with that very, very common problem. All right, I will see you in crochet video basic series number 8.